It's been a little while since we've talked about professional slapping, and that's really because it seems like the Russian circuit is on its off-season right now, giving all of the slapping athletes a chance to recuperate and continue their training, go to dojos across the world and learn new forbidden slapping techniques, shit like that. And the Russian circuit is by far the most enjoyable, with beloved characters we've fallen in love with, such as Vasily Kamatsky, the God Hand, Papa, the man who's the size of Galactus, Sledgehammer, the world's most intimidating looking man. I don't really need to explain who they are, you're already familiar with the three titans. These are the modern day Avengers. If we were visited by a threat whose only weakness was slaps to the face, these would be the first three men that I think gives humanity the best chance of surviving and neutralizing the threat. Now, while the Russian circuit's in its off-season, we're left with the amateur slapping tournaments and the amateur slapping leagues, which isn't bad because you gotta start somewhere. But it's not quite as good. Even still, I'd like to share with you the American slapping champion, whom I don't think many of you are too familiar with, so I figured let's go ahead and highlight America's finest in the slapping arena. That man on the left with the extremely sharp beard that looks like it could cut through a car door is Wolverine. He's currently America's premier slapping athlete, and I'd like to show you a couple of his matches. Now, one of the things I immediately feel is holding back this sport in America is the way it's filmed. It's filmed vertically using a Game Boy Advanced. It's not even a fucking iPhone that they're using here because the quality doesn't go above 240. It's despicable and nothing but an insult to the prestigious sport of slapping. This would be like broadcasting the Super Bowl using PlayStation 2's iToy. It's just ridiculous.
1, 2,
Interestingly enough, Wolverine actually looks like Vasily Kamatsky if Vasily Kamatsky went on the ketogenic diet and fell in love with southern rock music.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, wow. Rock and roll.
Yeah, when Wolverine slaps you, your whole family is going to feel that. One slap had that man's face looking like it had just been run over by a truck tire. Fucking splitting his skull apart with those slaps. That shit was gonna melt his skin off if he had slapped him any harder. It would have looked like out of Indiana Jones when that dude's fucking entire skull and body melt. That's what could have happened right there on that stage with that kind of power. But it's not just the power that impresses me about Wolverine, it's also his defense. He's able to take slaps really hard. He didn't go for a glass cannon build. In fact, he even grew out a defense with the beard. His beard is like barbed wire. So when you slap him, yeah, you're gonna hurt him a little bit, but you're also taking a little damage of your own, so he's actually whittling down his opponents too. It's really smart stuff.
2, 2.
You can hear the difference in just the sound alone. When Wolverine's getting slapped, it sounds like someone's gently setting their school textbook onto a desk. But when Wolverine slaps, it sounds like 5 dump trucks colliding. Wolverine won this match via judge's decision, but what's surprising is the fact that it even needed to go to judge's decision. I imagine as Wolverine continues his intense training, it'll stop being a question for the judges, and more a question of, well, did his opponent even survive? Because I feel he's still very new to slapping. I feel there's a lot of room in the mechanical technique of his slap to get the maximum force behind it. Pretty soon he'll start slapping and creating a tornado shortly thereafter. I'll show you another match. This is actually against a familiar face. So you may remember this man from the American Slapping Championship video from a few months back. His face bruises more easily than an apple. This man took some huge wear and tear damage across that fight, and that wasn't even against Wolverine. So his face may very well at the end of this look like something straight out of Dead Space.
2.
He's able to withstand the first blow from Wolverine pretty well, even goes as far as to taunt him by blowing a kiss. I think he should have doubled down on the taunting and made it full Xbox Live and just start fucking teabagging him.
2.
Yeah, his second shot was not as easy to brush off, just straight fucking clobbered him. Gave him a big wallop right there. Slapped his little asshole so hard he turned him into a drunk father stumbling around the house at 2 a.m. His slap was so powerful it gave him a sunburn. The blood in his neck around the impact zone here must be just so scared and confused. I'm surprised it didn't just run away all the way down to his penis or something, just give him a boner out of confusion just because the blood didn't know where it was safe to hide from these furious slaps from Wolverine. It just seems like he doesn't really know how to slap. He's getting with this, stiff arm, very robotic movement, and then he kind of gives it a push. It's more of like a push than a slap. I mean, it's enough that it'd probably knock my ass out in like a single tap, but that's really not saying much. The point is, if you're going to compete in the slapping tournaments, you got to learn the proper slap. You can't get it with this, very dinky little, that's not going to get anyone off guard, and especially not Wolverine with the fucking iron jaw. This dude's chin is probably fucking as strong as a vault door in a bank. So you're not going to get him with this kind of pseudo slap shove type deal to the face. Nearly ragdolled him off the stage with that slap. Was about to have that shit looking like a straight up scripted stage dive with that impact, and then his coach had to, reel him in like, hey, whoa, do you remember where you are, who you are? Just kind of bring him back to reality. Wolverine really is putting the meat on him. His slaps are no joke, and against his opponent's sensitive face, it's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, that's about all she wrote. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the American slapping talent. I think maybe it's just an issue of the production. They have a cool little venue for it. I think it's done at like a Dave & Buster's or maybe Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not really sure where the slapping's taking place. But, they have a stage, they have a location, but they just don't have a production team behind it. They don't have a crew. So then you get fucking vertical videos here that looks like they're on TikTok. Like, it's shitty. You need to up the production game and really say, you know what? We want to make slapping a big sport in America. And then probably get sued at some point, but god damn it, it'll be a great run. So congratulations to Wolverine for all the great meat he's putting out there with those palms. And yeah, that's really about it. See ya.